A winless streak stretching 1,159 days came to an end 7 days ago as Keaton Swane strode his way to the top of the iRacing Short Course Pro 4 National Series. But as we make our way into the final 3 rounds of the championship, it's all focused at the top to see if Conor Barry can be deprived of a 3rd consecutive championship on the bounce. Welcome back along to RaceBot TV. I'm Junior Kankipati alongside with the voice of off-road Dave Arnold. Apologies for those of you that have been trying to catch us over the last 5 minutes or so. Some technical issues. We should be dialed in and locked for the rest of the racing action as we get ready to go for qualifying. And Dave, what an exciting season it's been so far. Unfortunately, this is the final time we'll be joining us, at least until the summer.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll be off the next couple of weeks in far-off land of Japan, but I am still looking forward to it, especially after the finish we had last week. I'll tell you, that battle between Keaton Swane and Conor Barry, we couldn't call it until the actual iRacing said it was official, but it was a close battle. That just showed how hungry Keaton Swane was to get that victory. Now, the joke has become now, it's been, 21 days, I believe, something to that effect, that Conor Barry is not out a win. Will the clock keep ticking? But we still have a few winners in the past here this year that are still hungry to get another one and maybe get a second win under their belt.
And like I said, in the summer, Dave will be back in the broadcast booth as we dive our way into the Pro 2 National Series, and a lot more to come. But here's a look at that schedule, where we've been, what we've still got left to finish off. Next week's another one of our, or rather next time out, May 14th, a couple of weeks away, is another one of our Triple Crown formats before we return to the big house to long layout, the full 1.5 miles of the Crandon International Raceway on May 21st to crown our champion. Not far away, Dave, in what has been a pretty quick and hectic season for our drivers.
Oh yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, Conor's been so on spot, but you know, we've had a few sprinkled in there to get some other wins out there. I mean, Adams with a great run in Long Beach, Drake Matag taking a win, Tashalay with a great second there. I mean, so many drivers have stepped their game up, but they've been different tracks. Now, who's going to master Bark River is the biggest question. We've already been there once. Who's going to take it this time?
And of course, in the limited choice of tracks that we do have available, we had a lot of fun on the streets of Long Beach. Let's talk about championship standings, though, before we dive into that qualifying action. Here's a look at how it stands right now. It's a good 58 odd points between Barry and Canup. Swane is now close to within 6 points, though, of that Team Gold Machine in second. And mathematically, there is a possibility here that Conor Barry could head into the final round of the championship with the title locked and already secured. It will all come down, though, to how things play out at our Triple Crown event. Let's also then talk about team standings, because there's been a couple of teams that have stood out, and Dave, Channel 199 Sim Racing, Factory Sim Sport, and Team Gold at the very top.
Oh, those drivers have been on point, and a lot of their team members have been scoring well too, and that's what it's about. You know, is getting not just the one driver on top and everybody just shuffled off to the end. It's getting consistency with them working together, getting those points to get into this, you know, fact. And Channel 199 guys have been crushing it.
And it's, again, the top 2 from each of the teams. Some of these teams have more drivers, so it helps having strength in those numbers, given how physical the racing can be. Another look at our power rankings, by the way, where new entrants Crystal King for the first time this season after what was a pretty good round for her last time out. Edmondson loses some big points. Swane's up to second. Keep an eye out on some of these drivers as we get ready to go for qualifying. But one thing we're going to start doing a bit more this season is talk to our drivers and those around them. First driver we've got locked up isn't even a driver. Instead, he's team manager standing behind the pit wall. Dave Arnold's catching up with Trevor Teal.
Trevor, you guys put together quite the team out there. I got to say, so impressive, these drivers that you put on the team there. I got to say, Conor was already another one, Edmondson, but now getting Matt Adams into the mix, and boy, his Long Beach performance didn't disappoint.
Yeah, I mean, everyone on our team is just top notch. I mean, they have a mentality to win, so they're always grinding, which is, it's personally fun to see.
Yeah, it's great. Now, what are the things that you're looking for these drivers? Do you have like team meetings? Do you talk about, the teamwork together? I mean, what's the secret sauce to put these guys together?
Yeah, we have team meetings and really just practicing together, putting each other in different situations to just get ready for the race. It really helps out everyone.
Now, I know a couple of, it's always with a race car driver. It's like, yeah, you got teammates and all that, but you always want to be on top. I mean, are there some strategies that have gone into it? We've seen it in other forms of racing. You're holding that other guy up there, anything like that going on?
I mean, not so much in off-road. I feel like it's more individual, really, when it comes down to it. But I mean, if one of my guys is in front of each other and their truck's broke, they're gonna get out of the way for each other, and they're not gonna slide it in and take each other out, or at least I'd hope. But it gets wild out there, so.
Driving with a little bit of respect out there, that's what's always, I'm sure that's another quality of the driver that you look for too.
Absolutely, and it's like one of the top rules we have here.
Well, I mean, with you guys in the points, it's looking like a good season, looking on top right now, but you still got, a couple of teams still clipping at your heels. Yeah,
I mean, we have a few rounds left, and, the teams up there like Factory Sim Sport and Team Gold, you got to keep on your toes. They'll be ready there to bounce on any opportunity they can just to, get those points, so.
Yeah, they definitely have some good drivers in their programs. So what's next? We're going to see you all coming out for the Pro 2s, coming up for the championships.
Yep, I know that Squid Josh Edmondson's ready for that. He'll be ready for that for sure. Connor will be up to speed. Wouldn't surprise me if he wins a few, and it's gonna be fun to watch. I'm ready to watch those for sure.
Yeah, there's so many drivers. I mean, you just mentioned Connor and Josh. I mean, Connor, really excels in the Pro 4s. Pro 2s might be a little thing, even though he's a real-life Pro Light driver. But Josh Edmondson, he really has his groove when it comes to the Pro 2.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it comes from dirt bike racing. It feels a little bit more like a dirt bike. So, he rode back in the day and still does a little bit. He's a little bit older now. And
well, right on, Trevor. We appreciate you joining us on the broadcast. And I'm going to say good luck with the points lead, the 199 team.
See you later.
Right on, Trevor Teal, everybody.
Great to catch up with some behind the scenes, and remember, we'll catch up with a few more of our competitors through the course of our racing as well. They've just been given the command to get ready to go for qualifying, which means 4 laps, drivers out on track all by themselves. But we do know, Dave, qualifying tends to be relatively important as they get filtered off into their 4 heats, where the top 4 will advance from each of those races.
Yeah, definitely. That's where you want to be. You want to be in that top 4. You want to go to the dance. You don't want to have to fight your way through the LCQs. And we've seen some of the big drivers have to go through the LCQs. That was the crazy thing about it.
And that's where it gets tetchy, because ego sometimes plays its part. No one wants to lie down and lose points. There's no points at play in those LCQs, as much as there is a couple of points at the top for qualifying and each of those heat races as well. There is our, once again, race winner in the iRacing Short Course Series. 1,159 days since Swane last tasted success. I think one thing's for sure, it's not going to take him that long to do it once more, given how close he was in that streak as well.
Yeah, definitely. He was the master of the bull ring. I'm wondering if that's some of his sprint car racing came into play there too. That's where you just got to get there and stay on the gas and slide those things around. This is a little bit more open, a little bit faster track there. I'm going to see some high speeds from these drivers. I think we're still going to see a good battle between some of the top drivers in the main event, but you got to get there still. You got to qualify. You got to go through the heat races. You got to go through the LCQs before we see who's going to come out on top.
I'm seeing pretty much everybody out on track right now. Sometimes we do see drivers wait till the end of the session to get a benchmark, but no, right to the action at hand. Swane launches the car through the whoops into the left-hander and then brings it back around to the final couple of corners on the lap. This is where the pace truck will depart and leave the drivers to their own devices on each of our race starts. On board, you'll see the run through the final left-hander. You'll see how out to the wall these drivers will really run. It's almost like they ramp off the corner and get a Mario-like speed boost down off towards the start-finish line, and so lap time's roughly in the 1:12 bracket for us to be thinking about. It's a good lap time from Keaton Swane. It's into the 1:10 straight away. It'll put him at the top of the timesheet.
Yeah, kind of what you mentioned there kind of reminds me of how Firebird is after turn 1. Everybody ramps off that roll and gets that Mario turtle boost.
By the way, Adam McAfee's been hearing us in the commentary booth, and now his car has got Batman on it as well. It's the Batmobile out on track for the 18.
I'm Batman.
And if he ever comes and joins us for an interview, you bet we're going to make him do that voice. He's in the Team Gold contingent as well, as he's about halfway through the lap, 36 seconds and counting, and once more through that whoop section. And this is such a stark contrast to where we're going next time out, Dave, to the bull ring at the Farbo Motorsports Park.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, the similarities between a couple of the corners, but totally different course, a lot tighter. Not quite like the bull ring you see at Crandon, but I'll tell you, it's the next best thing is Firebird there. But I just love Bark River for the high speeds. I mean, really, you got to have your flow down.
It's the site of the closest ever finish in iRacing Off-Road Championship Series history. 2000 says Josh Fox grabbed victory. Adam McAfee 112.174. That's going to put him just outside the top 16, which would give you, if you finished where you start in the heat races, a spot directly in the main event. Cody Winicki, who's been having a flying season, flying once more in qualifying, and he's currently 72 thousandths quicker than Slicky himself, our championship leader, Connor Barry. This is Drake Mittag on to what is already his third lap in the session here, Dave. Not even halfway through our 10 minutes on the clock, and this is him slowing down and bailing. He's got one final attempt now to use.
And one of his teammates, or another driver, I say Trenton Briley, their Team Gold. I was referring to Batman earlier, another Team Gold driver. But wow, how things have changed when Nicky, like you said, blistering speed. Keaton Swane throw a fast lap down. He's already down to 5th. And I know Keaton, I think he's got, does he have another run in there? Or is that it for him?
He's on what would be his second run right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see if that's going to play nicely for him. One more chance after that. We're on board with Trenton Briley. I do see Keaton Swane has just come to the line to start actually what will be his final attempt. So he's got one more chance as well. So much like with what we saw with Drake Mittag, bailing on one of his previous attempts and back down to pit lane. Top 4 currently sitting and trying to see what their benchmark will have to be. Like I mentioned, there are some points at play here, so that's what these drivers are thinking about. Grid position, and in some cases, stealing championship points away from Connor Barry.
And I can see Trenton Briley trying to, channel the inner Sheldon Creed, who was one of the, before NASCAR, he was one of the greats of off-road racing. Multiple championships going, in the kart division, Pro 2 wins. I mean, it's insane. That's pretty cool to see that support there. I always love seeing my dirt guys that have done well like that.
It's a good lap time from Thad Countryman. If it had counted, it should have put him to the top of the board, but maybe that was just him setting up for what is his final lap out there on track. That's Brody DeShore, top 10 currently for him. We have 26 times on the board and 5 drivers, yet to set a lap time. Now, that is the slimmest webcam that I have ever seen on a broadcast, but if it works, it works.
I've actually tried to figure that. I've never seen anything like that. It's quite interesting there.
Done about
he probably didn't make his bed, so he had to cut out everything else.
That's smart of him. I was going to say, I've done 1,000-something sim broadcasts, never seen something like that. A great time from DeShore, though, to break into the 110s. Wow. It's up to 7th for him.
Yeah, it's a good run. He was sitting 10th before. Hadley Boyce now on track, looking at his times here. He's got some work to do. He's sitting 23rd right now, so hopefully he can get a fast lap here on his third and final qualifying out there. Winicki still holding on there. Now, I'm looking at Connor Barry. He looks like he's still got one run. Winicki's got another run still to do. They're all kind of waiting to see how everybody's shaking out there.
Speaking of... it's Thad Countryman goes to the top of the board. Cody Winicki has just rolled off pit lane. So I did say Countryman's time was good enough. He might have had an invalidated lap. So it's 2 laps in a row, Dave. He's gone to the top of the timesheets.
Well, this time it actually looks like it's official there with Nicky now back to second. Trent Briley's sitting a respectable third. Connor still sitting to wait to see if he's going to go out there and run it. He's sitting right 4th. And, he's going to have to set some fast times out there. Edmondson is another guy I'm waiting to see him go out and do another big run there. He's got looks like 2 runs to go.
Look at the laps differences on the left. You've got 3/10 between the front 14 at a track that's 1.5 miles. Evan McFarlane trying to take the shortest distance to the line. It sends him into the wall, but no improvement from 11th from him. You were talking about Josh Edmondson with Trevor Teal, maybe preferring those Pro 2s coming up later on in the summer. Here he is in the Pro 4, 7th on the board right now, and looking to try and find about a 1/10 and a half on what is his penultimate effort in the session, and giving it the full lean as well.
And it's always interesting to watch qualifying. The lines they take, you're, basically, even though virtually there's other drivers out there, you're not seeing them. and you're able to use the track up to try and get the fastest time. When it comes into, race time, it's a whole nother animal out there.
So that was a time that Edmondson didn't think was good enough, so he goes back to pit lane. He's got enough time to go out there again, but just about. Here's Nicholas Dachelet. It's a 30 seconds or so margin before he'll get back to the line. Cody Winicki's just gone back to the top, though. A 1:10.533, 2/10 quicker or so than Thad Countryman, now in second. Connor Barry to second as well.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, some guys have been burning this track up in practice, getting ready for this race here. But, with 3 rounds to go, everybody's just got their numbers crunching, the setups in their truck, trying to get it all right, figure out what they've done wrong in the past. I bet you a lot of the drivers from when we raced earlier in the year threw out all their settings, because now it's a whole nother game out there. Look how fast these guys are. Winicki, Dachelet, Countryman, Briley, Winkler, Edmondson in the 7, Swane, Miller, Dusher. Wow.
Fourth in the championship, Nicholas Dachelet has jumped to third in qualifying as Brock Smith across the line, a 1:12.2 for him. Going to see him down in 21st position. I see Christopher Plumley's on a fast lap. I see Josh Edmondson's on a fast lap. And the scary thing is, there is our provisional pole sitter, Cody Winicki, who's out there on his own as well. Will he improve and just put another statement on the rest of the field? He crosses the line and validates his lap time, but 1.3 tenths his margin to the field behind. It's already statement laid down. Winicki flying at the front. Edmondson through the final couple of corners, hoping that he's done a little bit better this time around, although that was very, very sideways through the left-hander.
Yeah, it definitely looks like he scrubbed a little speed off there. Whoa, hey, good thing he crossed that finish line there. But seeing a couple of the drivers that have popped up onto the top 16, Drapkin, Tom Grady, sitting 15th and 16th right now. Plumley still back in that 14th position, didn't do as well as he thought. But looking here, Crystal King sitting respected in 13, I'll tell you.
Even with that frustration that we saw on the webcam from Josh Edmondson, though, he does improve up to 5th. Yep. That will see him start 2nd in the upcoming opening heat. But it's Cody Winicki once again flying in qualifying. He's had a pretty impressive championship run outside of what was some misfortune in our season opener. Sits 5th in the points, and that's 5 championship points added to his total as well. Problem for the rest of the field is, Dave, Connor Barry, he only lost 1 championship point to the rest of his competitors. 4 points for him in second.
Yeah, that's the thing about qualifying. You get points in qualifying, you get points for winning your heat race. I mean, there's so many things that are factors for just chipping away at somebody's lead, and Connor is trying to keep that to a minimum.
Well, before we take a look at our starting grids, Dave Arnold's got one question with Cody Winicki, our pole sitter.
Cody, what did you do to find that speed, man? I'll tell you, did really you burn some laps or what?
I don't know. I went from a 10-inch wheel to a 13. I'm still getting used to it, but I feel more confident with it, and threw down a heater on my first lap, and I was like, okay, we'll see how everybody plays out, and threw down another one, and I didn't think I was going to beat my time, but I just kept going faster.
Do you think with a larger wheel you have a little bit more control, so it's not as, you turn a little bit, it's not as dramatic as a larger wheel, or it seems a little smoother?
Yeah, the larger wheel, you can turn up the power on this thing and get more of a feel and less oversteer and understeer.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I got to say, you made it to the top. Let's see how it's going to shake out for you in the heat races, man. You just already got the momentum.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Cody Winicki, man, top qualifier heading into this.
Apparently, we just need to change our steering wheels. If it was only as simple as that. Let's dial a look at our starting grid. Remember, 4-lap heats for us today. And so, Cody Winicki, Josh Edmondson will lead us to the green with Tyson Miller and Crystal King stacked up behind them. Remember, Crystal King on to our power rankings top 10 for the first time this season. Tyler Shattuck and Brock Smith just outside of the automatic transfer spots as we get ready to go. Behind them on the final row, it's Austin Scheiber and Kyle Cooper. Remember, 8 to enter this heat. 4, Dave, advance directly to the main event and avoid those LCQs.
It's like the battle royale at WWE. They all go into the ring. Only 4 are going to come out of this one.
It was WrestleMania last weekend. It feels quite fitting for you to throw that reference out. Don't forget, by the way, a couple of our drivers through the field, they've got some pretty cool gloves. You can get your own pair as well by heading to mark1racegear.com. Use the code MARK1 IRSC5 for 5% off all Mark 1 products, including the special iRacing short course gloves that are worn by our championship leader, Connor Barry. We get a proper 4 laps, by the way. If you joined us from our racing at Crandon, we effectively get half a lap for free because of our land rush start, so no extra distance this time around. But 4 laps here at Crandon, Dave, that's a lot of time for racing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, with Crandon being Crandon, like you said, you get that extra half a lap for free. Oh, boy. It's a rolling start here in Bark River, and it's going to be on like Donkey Kong.
Does mean the invert as well is going to be slightly more important when we get to that main event, but we'll talk about that after 4 heats and 2 LCQs. There's lots of racing for us to pack in before we get to our feature race, the competition caution, and all that will come with it. On the front row, Cody Winicki and Josh Edmondson. Edmondson's going to be on the outside as they run up towards the opening corner, and so you can see him right now using that virtual reality, I have no doubt, trying to spot when the pole sitter's going to jump the action. Another great qualifying effort from the Impact Speed Sport driver of Cody Winicki, and off and away we go. Will Edmondson be challenged by the Terminator Tyson Miller? Slams the door shut, single file from the top 3 down through the opening corner.
Yeah, Winicki with a great jump start as he moves into the lead there. Edmondson tucks it behind Miller, still trying to work and find that solution for Edmondson, constantly looking to the inside there. You can see Crystal King sitting in that final qualifying position, but it's going to be interesting. Tyler Shattuck's going to be right on her. You can see how calm, smooth she's looking right now. She's just, she's in the zone, and that's where you want to be.
Looks like maybe Austin Schreiber had a bit of a tussle with Tyler Shattuck. He's dropped to the tail end of the field. Crystal King holds on to that 4th position where she started, but to take a bit of fighting. And now these front 4, they know they don't have to fight too much. The top 2 do grab a couple of extra points. They grab better grid position in the main event as well. But all 4 of these drivers guaranteed a spot in the feature if they finish as they are. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 across the line at the end of lap number 1, and their margin back to Brock Smith on the hunt, just 1.1 seconds.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of breathing room there for Crystal King, that's for sure. Brock Smith is going to have to really, drive the crap out of that truck to catch up to her, because that pack, she's on par with the rest of them right now. She is just, they're pulling away slowly. They're not getting gapped too mad themselves, but Brock Smith still going to have a lot of ground to catch up there. And, of course, Tyler Shattuck in his shadow right now.
Something, Dave, that's always kind of boggled me is, when I talked to some of these drivers initially when I was new to the world of short course, they would talk about Bark River with the blue groove most specifically. The blue groove meaning when the drivers go over the track, they're running rubber onto the surface underneath them and moving some of that dirt off of the racing line. Now, given that this track is so long, you would typically expect that maybe there's less usage compared to one of the shorter tracks like a Firebird. What is it about this place that makes a blue groove so significant?
I think it's the higher speed you carry through the corner. The higher the speed, the higher the rotation, the more rubber you're going to lay down. It just, comes to friction, and that's the biggest thing. You can already see it starting to lay down a little bit there. You can see the high speeds that they go. They're always got a little bit of drift to them, so that means that they're, going. These tires, in the past, they were always a project tire, and they were a lot softer compound than a DOT tire. In the real world, they're running DOTs. The blue groove doesn't go down as much, but you still get it. And that's the thing, going from project. I think that iRacing possibly modeled it off the original project tires, where you do lay down in the past a lot more rubber on the track.
Gotcha. That's a slight slip there from Tyson Miller over the jump. It's going to allow Crystal King to close back up, who had slipped up slightly and made a mistake and dropped back a couple of truck lengths. But now 1, 2, 3, 4 compress up once again onto the final lap of the race next time at the line. And really haven't seen too much action, but don't worry, Bark River doesn't tend to be short of action, especially when we head off into those LCQs, which are increasingly physical. They will be 4 laps in length, only the top 2 to automatically advance to the main event. Everyone else will be done for the day. There is the Terminator, Tyson Miller. Very lucky he didn't get spat off the track after a slight slip up over one of the jumps.
Yeah, that's very lucky that he had there. Crystal King, though, with her mistake, was allowing Tyson Miller a little bit of, I'm going to say, an area to mess up. But, talk about getting a little out of shape there. Tyson Miller, man, that thing was just up almost on the bike there.
That was very uncomfortable, but, you know, that's why these drivers are out there and we're in the broadcast booth, because they're used to that discomfort. And one of the benefits of the sim world as well, compared to the real world, I'm sure, especially when it comes to short course racing, just the number of laps you can do. Dave, I'm sure track time a lot more limited for many of these drivers on a race weekend.
Oh, yeah, financially. You got to talk about a big gap in price there. You can go, and the nice thing about this, you can hit the reset button if you blow a motor.
And all the fiberglass, especially there's some missing on the right side of Crystal King Shenandoah Shine 278, that gets fixed for free, which definitely does not happen in the real world.
Yeah, we used to always make a joke, better get Fiberworks. You know, they're the guys that made a lot of the fiberglass bodies in the past for the short course. And boy, these guys would come in with like 2 or 3 bodies because they'd just be thrashed.
Well, no such concerns at the front of the field with the top 4 all playing friendly with each other. And so as they started between Cody Winicki, Josh Edmondson, Tyson Miller and Crystal King, who in this first heat of the day advance on forward, but that was a lot closer of a margin further behind. Brock Smith passed by Tyler Shattuck on the run to the line, and that will mean grid position advantage for the 37 Team Gold Esports entry. But remember, confirmation, the front 4 to advance automatically. Everyone at the final of the automatic transfers with Mittag and Boyce 5th and 6th positions. Wes Graham and Fuat Baran line up at the back of the 8-truck field, Dave.
Well, looking for, I'm hoping this is going to be a little more eventful. But, you know, when it comes to heat racing, some of these drivers in your top 4, uneventful is good.
Yes, and that's kind of why we, on the left side, when the timing tower pops back up, you'll see a green line. If you're inside of the green line, you're golden. Anything below it, you're trying to fight your way forward. Sometimes it's important for those 5th, 6th, and 7th not to squabble too much amongst themselves. Let those front 4 break away. I mentioned you can get 5% off Mark 1 race gear by using the code IRSC5. Well, use the code iRacing Short Course for 15% off at boozyjerky.com, which is really tasty. And how do I know it? Dave, because I was at my grocery store a couple of days ago and I saw some boozy jerky, so guess what? I picked it up, I tried it, and I loved it.
Oh, now I'm jealous because I'm hungry.
It is dinner time.
Some boozy jerky would be actually pretty good right now.
Yeah, I shouldn't have brought it up right around dinner time on the West Coast, should I?
Yeah, I know, really. You're hungry, that's why you were thinking of it.
Exactly. It's all the way in the kitchen, though. I can't run all the way there before this race gets underway. Another 4 laps for us, let's not forget. And Connor Barry, Trenton Briley up on the front row. Connor Barry really in a place right now, Dave, where he doesn't have to fight too hard with anyone else. He just needs to keep himself out of trouble.
Yeah, he's got to qualify. That's the biggest thing, too. You know, it's all about the points here, trying to collect a few more points here. Like you said, he only lost 1 point in qualifying. Now it's a chance to gain a couple more points back if he can gain that point he lost.
Well, and I guess technically, compared to his championship rivals, he did gain points on them. It was only to Cody Winicki, quite remarkably, that he did lose points. That's the consistency of Barry. 6 points up for grabs for a heat win, 2 for second place. Everyone else just has either a transfer spot or a place in the LCQ. Can Barry secure 6 more championship points in what would be yet another heat win this season? Off and away we go in the rolling hills of Michigan. It's a good jump from Barry, but Briley's got company. Brody DeShore is going to try and lunge up the inside. 3 abreast. Mittag makes some contact as he tries to get past Christopher Plumley, and there is a change for position as they sweep their way to the long left-hander.
And Plumley sneaks up the inside there. Drake Mittag there, a little bump from behind. Drake's going to try and change that line to get the setup, get a nice little slingshot from this left-hander to see if he can carry some more speed. A little bit of a chicane section here. Always interesting here.
Wes Graham's up to 5th. That's 2 positions gained on the start. Bit of fiberglass on the right front of Mittag's truck, already slightly askew. He bodies Wes the mess out of the way, who now drops towards the tail end of the field. Gets a bit of contact with Hadley Boyce, who's cattywampus out of shape, but hangs on to the truck with the 4-wheel drive. But back over the jump in the air, that was Trenton Briley and Brody Deshore almost wheel to wheel for 2nd and 3rd position. And guess what? Front of the field, it's Connor Barry trying to break away.
And you can see Plumley trying to follow Dusher around, standing on that outside line there. Trent Briley fills it up there, so there's no room, no daylight there. He is using up that track. If you want to pass me, make your own line is what he's saying. But look at this. Before he spoke too soon, up the inside, Dusher trying to make a move right now, but look at that. Filled that spot once again. Look at that tail shake.
Quite remarkably, they're where they started in this particular heat at the end of lap number 1. Plenty of action though, and out wide for Trenton Briley, door opened, and no second invitation for Deshore, who slides his way up to 2nd, and now 1.4, the gap between the top 2. Connor Barry well and truly clear. Look at Christopher Plumley in virtual reality, and now thinking which way does he go on Briley off toward the hairpins.
And Briley's going to be looking inside and outside. He's going to be moving a lot of positions around, trying to find a way around Brody for sure. The battling of these 2 drivers allowing Connor Barry just to break away a little bit. Matad, trying to get up into the mix with them. But I'll tell you, Plumley is just tied to Trenton Briley. Looking up the inside, these guys are putting his chocolate in his peanut butter right now.
Some great stuff, that's for sure. A lot more intense than what we saw in the first heat of the night. And just that reminder that there is great racing here. Slide job attempt from Briley. Knocks to shore for a slide, but they both hang on to it. Plumley up the inside, grabs 3rd position. Mittag, Boyce, and Graham all in the equation as a result of this argy-bargy. 2 more laps left to go in heat number 2.
Incredible how Trent Briley kept control of that machine there. He was just on the ragged edge. Still in that qualifying position, but a beautiful move by Plumley looking up the inside to Sure. Also with some great speed as he made that pass. Man, I'll tell you, this is just getting exciting. A lot more action in this heat race than the last one.
That is for sure. Trenton Briley a lot calmer than I would be behind the wheel. The driver that is 9th in the championship. Last time out was his best point scoring round of the season so far. That was not a great exit from Plumley. Not quite sure how he slowed himself off the corner so significantly. And maybe he was just allowing Briley to retake that position so he could slide back up the inside. A bit too aggressive behind there. Door to door as well. Mittag and Boyce, some great racing. Remember though, 1.5 miles left to go at the line.
Yeah, it's still a little bit of lap time here or there for Briley and Plumley. Still a battle of a tag. He's in one position. He's trying to look for a little daylight. He sees these 2 dicing. I think he's hoping that they're going to tie up just a little bit and allow a little bit of daylight for him to slide up the inside. You can see that COD, Custom Off-Road Designs, on the hood. It's their fabrication company.
You can also see one of the medals. Drake Mittag, a winner earlier this season. That's what all of our winners get this year. That's such a cool thing to commemorate the effort put in to reward their success here in the sim. That gap at the front of the field, 3 seconds the advantage day for Connor Barry.
Yeah, Connor's just like, keep battling back here. I'm good. I'm just going to run away with this one.
I don't remember off the top of my head what the invert is, but not expecting Connor to be on pole, not on the front row either, but very much headed to that main event with great starting positions. This the fight for the final transfer spot. Mittag leans on Briley as they sweep through the hairpin. There's only a couple corners left to go. Briley's in a good spot. Can he hold on?
And Mittag pushed a little bit up the inside here. It's going to be a drag race. If Briley gets that in, he'll have the inside line coming around. Mittag turns around. Oh, contact. He's in the cab with them. And Briley gets spun around. I don't know how the stewards are going to look at this one.
Can Hadley Boyce get the drive off the corner and charge up the inside? I think Mittag's been able to close the door through the left-hander. Barry wins. Deshore Plumley guaranteed to advance with him. You could see Mittag on the radio trying to talk to the rest of his teammates. Not going to get a word from race control, I think, for a moment. We'll get confirmation actually in just a couple of minutes if this results screen can be taken down and shown once again. The results have been updated because Race Control have given a penalty in the simulator, and so Drake Mittag does not finish in 4th position. Instead, he drops to the back of the field. It will be Barry Deshaw Plumley to advance, as well as a couple more. Just Hadley boys. Wes the Mess, Trenton Briley, and Fuat Baran miss out, but great to see Race Control on the action so quickly. And we can breathe for a second, Dave, and take that in, because we get the chance to chat to one of our drivers, Crystal King. But first, let's quickly dial up our grid for heat number 3. Never mind. Dave, you're standing by with Crystal.
Crystal King, I know it's been an up and down season for you, but you've been rather consistent. You're always in the mix. You're always right there. But the good thing is you're qualified for tonight.
Yeah, that is a great thing. This track can be pretty tricky sometimes, and I'm just happy that I don't have to go through the LCQ, because the least amount of laps that I have to do here, the better.
Well, luckily, after watching this last heat race, your heat race seemed rather tame at this point. You're probably not too upset about that.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Hopefully the stream caught the entertainment, because that was a good battle there for those last couple laps.
Yeah, definitely going. So what are your predictions? You know, any strategies going into the main event tonight?
No, the only strategy is to just keep my wheels on the ground, keep my eyes open. I'm going to be starting like in the mid-pack as usual, and this track can get so crazy. Like, I'm going to have to be dodging obstacles, I'm sure. So I'm just wanting to get through it clean, and hopefully, no penalties.
Well, hopefully with the 8 invert I just heard about, that might help you a little bit. So you're in the qualifying. Hopefully you had a little bit faster time than a few other qualifiers tonight.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to take advantage of this invert at some point, because it's been crazy battling in the mid-pack. The competition is so crazy this year. It's like you really got to work for it these days to get your spots.
Well, we're looking to see you do well in the Shenandoah Shine machine there, and I want to say good luck to you tonight, Crystal King.
Thanks.
Great to be able to catch up with the drivers, and yes, confirmation. Awesome. Invert of 8 is going to really shake that main event up. Dashley, Winkler, they're the front of this starting grid, with Evan McFarlane, Zachary Drapkin behind them, Mason Prater and Cody Vanderveer 5th and 6th positions respectively, before we get to Eric Jones and Matt Adams, one on the streets of Long Beach in that 404, but of course we know that tarmac a little bit more to his suiting than sometimes the dirt can be. Drivers have been given the instruction after our quick chat with Crystal that they are ready to go, so hopefully none of them went to the bathroom and aren't on the starting grid, but all 8 trucks ready to go as we get the command, and some drivers more ready than others.
It's all about that anticipation. Waiting. Hurry up and wait.
That second heat was, I think, the most intense second heat, rather, I should say, that we've seen in quite a while. Usually it's heats 3 and 4, Dave, where tension and things start to build and rise.
Yeah, it's, sometimes you see the guys who were the fast qualifiers that ran the first heat. We saw them, they ran clean. You get a little deeper in the pack. It starts to, as you say, get a little argy-bargy at that point. And as our heat races, they just get more exciting. And then the LCQs, all bets are off.
I'm hoping we get some sanity in the LCQs, but I know better. Pace trucks off and away. Fields left in control now of Nicholas Dashley, but it's again a little bit of a hold before we get through the next couple of corners, and we find ourselves off and away for the 3rd heat of the night. We've got a couple of drivers 4th and 5th, so that battle for the transfer position. Zachary Drapkin and Mason Prater, who have been suspended earlier this season for a race for intentional contact with one another. So I can already say Heat 3 might be quite spicy as we get ready to go. Dashley in control of the field. It's Winkler alongside, who's had a couple of podiums this season in that 720. A long hold, off and away. Dashley gets us racing from the rolling hills of Michigan. Behind him, McFarlane charges up the inside, but Winkler holds on. But a bit of contact sends him almost 90 degrees perpendicular to the track. They're 3 wide into the long left-hander.
And Drapkin's going to follow up right behind Winkler there, but you can see Prater making a move to the inside. You can see the 444s of McFarlane in tow as they start to spread out just a little bit here. And you can see door-to-door action going on with Drapkin. And it looks like Prater Oh, fiberglass flying.
That's a little bit less than I thought we might see, all things considered. Only a little bit of drama. McFarlane down 2 positions. Prater and Drapkin take advantage at his expense, and we ride on board with the 444. Cody Vanderveer currently outside of those transfer positions, but leaning on Mason Prater, trying to work his way back into the action.
Oh,
that's a little bit of contact.
Yeah, I think definitely got unsettled there. You see Vanderveer, rather intense. He's doing a little talking there, going, "Whoop, I messed up. I got to calm down." I love how calm these drivers are, but you can also see how their heads tilt. They're just so focused. It's incredible.
The lean on Josh Edmondson when we were watching him earlier, that was quite remarkable. But I get it, because I do the same as well. McFarlane's looking the long way around on Mason Prater. Switches back to the inside if he holds the position, but he does not. There's a shove to the back as well of the number 3. This is really dragging them off the case of those front 3 machines starting to break away. Zachary Drapkin in the 56 red line. All trucks probably smiling and watching this in his rear view mirrors, because still contact as they slide their way towards the jump, and around the outside. Can Cody Vanderveer make this work on Mason Prater?
And you can see up the inside, the 444's McFarlane now gets by. They split the uprights there. You can see Vanderveer slides back to the inside, trying to make a move right now on Prater. Vanderveer gets by Prater side by side for just a moment. He's going to have to push these guys wide. They're going to come into the left-hander here, and he's going to try and establish position. But unfortunately, Prater will have the inside line going through the chicane.
This is a great fight. All it's doing really is costing them time and ground to those front 3. So it's 3 fighting for one of our transfer positions. The rest going to be headed to the LCQ. That's great, though. Slide job up the inside from Mason Prater. Expends a little bit more fiberglass, but holds on to 4th. 2 laps left to go. These drivers now 3 seconds behind the front 3.
Let's see if Matt Adams can get into the fight here. He's making a big run right now on Vanderveer. You can see in the 159 machine, McFarlane right in front of him. But it's Prater who's just holding on by the skin of his teeth right now. Door-to-door action going on, and Vanderveer gets to watch it unfold. He's hoping these guys are going to take each other out, I think.
The hat says it all. This is truly wild right now. There's no ifs or buts about it. 1 lap left to go at the line. McFarlane in a great spot. There comes Matt Adams charging up the inside. And as much as, he's had a rocky season on the dirt, that win on the tarmac does mean he's locked in through our playoffs to the World Cup later this year. But we'll get into all of those stories in the summer with our Pro 2 Championship. So much extra action to come here on RaceSpot TV with the iRacing Short Course Series. That's more contact from Mason Prater to force his way back through on McFarlane through the final couple of corners. 1 lap left to go.
McFarlane trying to fill that spot right there. Prater keeps beating and banging on him as they go through. Prater takes a position, a little bit of wall action going on from McFarlane. And, there's a white flag. 1 lap to go here. Can Prater hold on to that final qualifying position? He's got 3 hungry dogs coming after him.
That first corner might have helped him slightly. McFarlane and Vanderveer, the battle in and amongst themselves might have cost them. McFarlane picks the speed back up, closes to the bumper. And it is going to be last chance saloon. Eric Jones is on pit lane. He was involved in contact a couple of laps ago that saw him require the truck back down to pit road. A couple of hairpins left for these drivers to force their way through. It is going to take some contact, you'd feel at this point, Dave.
Oh, definitely. Prater's going to get a whole lot of McFarlane coming up on his back porch here. Looking at the inside there, you can see Vanderveer now 3 wide coming around there. And you can see poor Matt Adams is sitting there watching in the catbird seat. Can't do much at that point. McFarlane with a heavy lean right now. You can see Prater fight his way back. McFarlane to qualifying position. Here comes Matt Adams up the inside. And they're leaning on him. Oh, my goodness.
Trying to take advantage of all of it. Dashley, Winkler, and Drapkin, they're unaware of this craziness. McFarlane shoved into the wall. Adams, he's into the wall as well. And so Mason Prater, through all of that, the seas part, and he grabs a spot in the main event.
Oh, my goodness. It was Moses and his staff spotting the Red Sea there, that's for sure. Oh, yeah. 4 guys qualified. Nick Dashley, Sean Winkler, Zach Drapkin, and Prater with a great run. Boy, I forgot about those other guys. I was more worried about Prater, Adams, McFarlane.
That is
wow.
2 races in a row where we have not even seen the leader cross the line to see the checkered flag, because what chaos there has been behind. Again, Adams, McFarlane, Van der Veer, and Jones, they've got some more racing to do before a potential shot at the main event. Let's line them up for the 4th and final heat, though, for those LCQs, which, based on what we've seen so far, if the physicality only increases, oh boy, race control might be busy. Thad Countryman, and once again a winner in the iRacing Short Course Series. It's Keaton Swane on the front row with Luke Canup and Tom Grady behind them. Dennis Mickelson and Adam McAfee, Batman, 5th and 6th positions, with Christian Noble all by himself on row 7 in that boozy jerky entry. Aidan Irvine, as ever, in race control, keeping things calm, and already has been called into action relatively quickly. Let's not forget, in our second heat on the night. So a big thank you to our team at Race Control, Dave, because they have the most thankless job in all of motorsports.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you're friends with a lot of these guys, but boy, you got a tough job there. You got to watch them like hawks there. And you know what? These drivers have gotten so much better over the last couple of years. I'm so impressed with them. But every once in a while, they're race car drivers. That's all I got to say. And the elbow's got to get thrown.
Oh, it happens. You know, contact is inevitable. This is a contact sport at the end of the day, and that's why the fiberglass is expendable, even if it comes at a cost in the real world. 1,195 days. Dave, we can bring it up now plenty, because the streak's come to an end, and he's finally a winner once more.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, I mean, wow, that was shocking to know that he went that many days without a win, especially Keaton Swane. He's been such a juggernaut over the last couple of seasons, and then, wow. But, you know, sometimes, what do they say? Sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield.
It ties him with Mason Prater as 4th most wins in the series history, 6 wins apiece. If you want to know the rest of the stats, you've got Luke Canup and Connor Barry. They've got more than 20 each. Zachary Drapkin with 8, and then Prater and Swane at 6. That is the dominance that we have seen from Luke Canup and Connor Barry in this series. Let's not forget, Luke Canup starts in 3rd position here as we get ready. Remember, 4th and final heat of the night. So this is going to be rather quick and rather intense. Off and away we go, and who's got a great launch here, because they're 3 wide at the line. Luke Canup splits the middle, but he's not going to grab the lead. Thad Countryman slammed the door shut and holds on. Keaton Swane's going, where did that move come from?
I know, I can imagine. Just by the reaction I saw in his truck, that he was like, what just happened here? It's exactly what's going through my mind. You can see Mickelson coming up there, and also a little bit of contact there with McAfee, and ooh, they're slowing down.
Oh, yeah. See if we can get word from Race Control, but...
Did somebody jump out of line a little early, I'm thinking?
I am as confused as you. Confirmation. Thad Countryman jumped to the start slightly early, and so does that mean we form up once again, or does that mean... This is where knowing the rule book a little bit better, Dave, would help. But it's been one of those days at work, you know.
If they jump in line in real life, they send them to they get into the line, baby.
Here we go. Here's a look at the replay. Oh, that is early. That's the earliest we've seen by far today.
It was up to Swane. That's why Luke Canup saw the motion by him. But, you know, it was up to Swane to start him.
So again, here's a 2x2 formation. That sees Swane and Canup on the front row this time around. So we have shed a lap off this race, but it just means even more excitement over the 4.5 miles that they have to squabble. So here we go. Swane and Canup on the front row, and drivers fighting for second in the championship. And there's some angry bulls stacked up behind them. They all wanted to go a little bit early. Side by side, they're going to run over the long right-hander to open up this race. Tom Grady, Dennis Mickelson, a single file behind them for 3rd and 4th position. But Swane gets the whole shot into the long left-hander.
Yeah, I think Swane knew that was a little. That's why the reaction by Swane on that first start there. He was in control this time and got a good start. Canup with a good reaction, also tucked in behind him. But I think we're going to see a good battle between Grady and Mickelson starting to develop. And look at the gap already starting to develop. 1.5 seconds back to the next group in the 5th place there. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
And I have no doubt that Swane and Canup are going to throw everything at one another. There's 4 points up for grabs between these two drivers who came into this round of the championship split by 6 points. So if Swane can come out on top here, I don't remember qualifying points off the top of my head, but it might actually put Swane in front in second place in the championship. So 2 laps will be left to go. Remember, we've lost a lap of this race after the slightly early jump from Thad Countryman. Behind them, Adam McAfee gets a little bit slammed shut there as Dennis Mickelson and Tom Grady trip over one another. Top 2 breakaway at the line.
Yeah, you can see the contact going on between McAfee and Grady you were talking about. Mickelson's going to be definitely throwing those elbows out because he's got Grady and McAfee coming on. And don't forget about Countryman. Countryman, unfortunately, had that, the early start there. He got penalized. Let's see if he can get back onto it. You can see McAfee back on board with Team Gold's Batman. I want to know if it was the Val Kilmer or which one was he?
It wasn't an acceptable era of Batman was the question. That Countryman, let's not forget, did qualify 4th in the qualifying session, so he is fast. Don't count him out by any means. I fully agree with what Dave is saying. These drivers fight over the final transfer position. Adam McAfee gets a bit of contact from Grady in the factory SimSport 535, retakes the 4th position. Swane has re-established himself in the lead and with quite an advantage as well as we get ready to hop on to the final lap of the heats in this 8th round of the championship. So he's looking pretty hungry, pretty feisty, and looking like he wants to return to victory lane.
And you can see fiberglass flowing right there, went through McAfee's face as he saw Grady starting to shed some weight a little bit there. The white flag's out, 1 more lap to go, but it's Keaton Swane and Luke Canup who's been battling there. Keaton Swane lost that lead to Canup. Now Keaton Swane has it back as he makes the run here on the final lap. And you can see McAfee right now just seeing that last qualifying position. He knows, sitting in 5th place, he's just going to have to go to the LCQ. So does he have enough track left? It's going to be tough.
The word, by the way, from race control was Luke Canup actually had a slowdown from iRacing. That's cost him some time. What it is going to mean, though, Dave, is that he will lose some championship points to Keaton Swane, yes, but by finishing 2nd in Heat 4, he would have lined up 8th without the invert, but we have an invert of 8. So guess who lines up on pole position for our main event about to come up in a few moments' time? It's Luke Canup. So it's not the worst thing in the world to finish 2nd in this particular heat. No. But continuing his winning ways at the front of the field, Keaton Swane, Luke Canup, Dennis Mickelson, and Tom Grady will make it through to the main event directly, but we've got some LCQs yet to come.
No, it's going to be on. I'll tell you, these LCQs I'm looking forward to. There's some, fast drivers that we expected to be up in the qualifying out there, especially, with Matag. And, it's like, wow. But not surprising, Keaton Swane. Oh, my goodness.
Oh my days. Drama on the run to the line, Dave. Tom Grady, some contact between him and Adam McAfee. McAfee gets a penalty for that. And guess what? After jumping the start, Thad Countryman back into the main event, but he had to do it the hard way. Tom Grady, Christian Noble, Adam McAfee, and Aidan Irvine, of course, in race control, controlling all the action, getting ready for our LCQ. But before we jump into all of that, got another interview. Dave Arnold standing by with Wes Graham.
Boy, Wes, how you doing, man? Another great night here in iRacing.
Yes, sir. Doing well. How about y'all?
Well, it's a great night. I'll tell you, you guys have definitely had some good racing tonight, and a little contact there, a little rubbing is racing, I guess, huh?
Oh yeah, that's always a thing here on short course. So we're just lucky enough. There was a late DQ there at the end of our heat, and we're sitting pole for the second LCQ. So I got my work cut out for me for sure. But I'm just gonna hold her down and just see what we can do. A couple of really fast guys, actually a lot of really fast guys in this LCQ too. We got most of the racecraft team into the main, so I'd like to make my second one this year. The only one I've made is the Long Beach run. Yep. So, I'd like to make another one before the season's over. We only got a couple more races to do it, so let's see if we can't get it done tonight. Why not?
So to go to the dance when you go into your LCQ, you're sitting on the pole there, man. How wide are your elbows going to get going to try and protect those positions?
It's going to get about as wide as I can get them. We're making last minute setup changes, and Sean and Cody and Zach all helping us in the Discord call right now, and we're just ready to see what will happen. I mean, we only need to get first or second, so hopefully everybody else starts getting a little aggressive behind us, and we can just sail away, a little scot-free.
Well, I got to say good luck to you in your Racecraft Academy and sitting on the pole in the second LCQ.
Yes, sir.
Before we get there, we've got the first LCQ where Tyler Shattuck, Matt Adams front row, Brock Smith, Evan McFarlane, Kyle Cooper, Cody Vanderveer, and then Austin Schreiber make up the 7 that will enter. And like Dave called out, with Wes, 2 to advance directly forward. So this is where we expect the contact to become even more pronounced.
Oh, definitely. And I tell you, there's some hungry drivers there. Shattuck, he's been really shooting for this one. Matt Adams, boy, he just wants a little redemption on the dirt, I think, especially after taking Long Beach there. But Brock Smith, he's seen a main, but now he needs to see another one in his hometown. He grew up at this track. This is his favorite track, and I know for sure he's chomping at the bit to get a qualifying position.
That's final opportunity for these drivers. There's no points up for grabs by any means.
Nope.
None of these drivers necessarily inside of championship fights right now. The highest placed of them is Cody Vanderveer, 14th in points, so it's not had a terrible season by any means. And remember, if they did have any damage on their trucks from their heats, benefit of iRacing, fiberglass being fixed for free, trucks being reset to factory fresh conditions.
Gotta love that. I'll tell you, that's going to be definitely for sure one of the coolest things that I think iRacing said, oh yeah, it's not a video game, but it's like a video game where you hit the reset.
So Tyler Shattuck, Matt Adams front row, Brock Smith, Evan McFarlane, who can be quick, just not always had the luck this season. Austin Schreiber's got the most work to do by himself on the 4th and final row. They'll head through the long left-handers and head back off to the line. And already, once we've seen today, a driver caught slightly off by procedure at the start. So Shattuck being a bit careful, going to wait as long as he can before back underway we get the first of the LCQs, and a good jump from the 37. Brock Smith charges up the inside to try and take that spot away from Matt Adams, but on the outside, Adams pushed off into the grass, and he slides down to 3rd, fights with Evan McFarlane.
And you can see Vanderveer, we saw him also getting a little pushed out there. He falls back all the way to the last position right now. Matt Adams fought his way back up to 3rd, getting by Schreiber, but it's Shattuck and Smith. But you can see that Adams, Smith are going to be battling it out here. You can see Adams going to have a lot of footsteps behind him with Schreiber, Vanderveer, Cooper, and McFarlane.
Pretty sure McFarlane got quite lucky there. He went through some objects on the sim that aren't there in reality. He could have been a lot more unlucky with that. Matt Adams back past Brock Smith, who got cattywampus on the entry into the hairpin. And so Tyler Shattuck said goodbye to the rest of the field. Smith almost run off into the gantry, but he holds on, slides back into the queue in 5th position. But remember, these are everyone else now, apart from Tyler Shattuck, left to squabble, to fight over one spot in the main event, unless Matt Adams can close the advantage to your race leader with 3 laps left to go.
And definitely we can see McFarlane trying to make a move up the inside of Brock Smith here. McFarlane gets by just for a moment here as Brock Smith gets sideways again and regains control. Nice way to work the wheel and straighten his machine back out there. You see he's dropped back to 6th place now. Schreiber trying to get a run there. It looks like Brock, though, his setup or something's wrong with his truck. He's flying the nose high. The truck's getting a little loose out there.
Being quite aggressive, I think, today as well. Maybe his...
Oh!
Speaking of aggression, add at least 4, 5, maybe 6 to the flip counter. Oh, and poor Cody Vanderveer. At least he's laughing about it now.
Man, that wasn't only sideways, it was end to end, too, man. He got all axes covered.
Oh, that was spectacular. You get the 10 on the judges' scale for the flips, but unfortunately suboptimal in terms of racing. The gap now increases, though, between Matt Adams and Austin Schreiber as a result of that incident. 2 laps left to go. Top 2 looking comfortable.
Yeah, after that one, I have to sell some sponsorship on the bottom of Vanderveer's truck so you can read it.
That's our prime real estate opportunity, unfortunately. Yes. Let's see. McFarlane's not far off the back of Austin Schreiber as well, who I did say he's got the most work to do. He's up 4 positions in this respective race so far. All it's going to take is a couple of slip-ups for the 404, and it would be very much game on, race on. That gap's down to under 9/10 of a second.
And it looks like possibly a little net coating there. We can take another look at Vanderveer's roll up and over, splice the truck, and off to the pits he goes.
10 out of 10. The benefits of the sim is that we can spool up as many replays with as many different camera angles as we want and not feel bad about it, because no one was in that car to feel the impacts of what would have been a rather hellacious and a long-lasting crash as well. That seemingly went on forever and ever. I did say the gap would come down. Austin Schreiber's trying, but I don't know if he's got enough time. Got 1 lap left to go when we cross back to the line.
Yeah, I'll tell you, in real life, boy, it's rather mind-blowing the safety that these vehicles have to see drivers get out and walk away. It's just incredible, these machines, and how well they're built.
The testament to modern safety in general in motorsports. It's taken for granted sometimes. Austin Schreiber makes a mistake, gets the front end up into the air, and McFarlane sweeps around the outside. That's not really a hard pass. What it does mean now is Matt Adams has got more of a buffer on this final lap of the race.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you see these trucks thing, because, gyroscopic effect goes into play when these trucks jump. If you too much throttle, the nose lifts up. You hit the brakes a little too much, the nose drops down. So you can use the wheels to kind of fly these machines. That's the way they work. And sometimes, boy, I tell you got to leave that throttle. You leave that throttle down a little too long, it can bite you.
Sweep their way through. On board with 4th position, so Schreiber not really thinking about the opportunity as far up the road as Matt Adams is. And so, top 2, as they started this first LCQ, we've seen some chaos, some carnage. It involved a truck going end over end, but as Cody Vanderveer watches from pit lane, it says Tyler Shattuck, Matt Adams will advance to the main event. A little bit closer for 2nd and 3rd than I would have been comfortable with. Adams will just about hold on. McFarlane, Schreiber, Smith, Cooper, and Vanderveer are done for the night. And there's Brock Smith riding off a truck. Here's a look at the race results. Shattuck and Adams, 1 more go for them. Everyone else will see us in a couple of weeks' time for another Triple Crown event from the Firebird Motorsports Park. McFarlane just punching the fastest lap of the race, though. A reminder of what he's capable of. Remember, Wes the Mess starts to the front of LCQ2. He's got Tom Grady alongside with Briley, Noble, row 2, Baran, McAfee, 5th and 6th positions, and then some heavy hitters on the final row. Drake Mittag, Eric Jones, work for them to do from the back of the starting lineup, Dave.
Oh, definitely. Some of the big team members that have to fight their way out of this last LCQ. Seeing the Team Gold, teammates there. Of course, Trenton Briley's got a lot of dirt to be made up, and there's Batman. You can see that machine right there. We're going to have to get him to get his VR blacked out, too.
You won't be surprised to hear, by the way, that Trenton Briley was requesting some reviews of the contact that he had in his particular heat on the final lap. Let's see what he's able to do from 3rd in the 2nd LCQ. Remember, 8 to enter, 2 to move their way on forward. There is high stakes for some of these drivers in the late stages of the championship. Trenton Briley, for example, he's 9th in points. He wants to try and make his way a little bit closer into the top 5. Can't afford to not make it to the main event here today, Dave.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, being in top 10 is great, but top 5, with the talent that we have out there, just shows that you're a player. You got game, basically.
And after this, only 2 more rounds of the championship in these Pro 4 machines with the 900 odd horsepower that they have going through all 4 wheels. Later on this summer, we will get back underway with the Pro 2 National Series. That starts October 1st, so maybe not the summer. It's quite a few months away, but we've got a trip to Firebird, a trip to Bark River, Watkins Glen, Wild West Motorsports Park, and Crandon, all building to the World Cup at the end of 2025. So much to look forward to, as much as the summer might be a bit devoid of sim short course action. That's a beautiful looking livery on the 946, the Boozy Racing entry of Christian Noble with the bull on the front of it.
I want some jerky. I want some Boozy jerky.
Again.
Green flag, green.
Marketing works as we get underway, and we're distracted from the action for a moment, but Wes Graham holds on to the lead. Slip and sliding goes Noble behind, and Fouad Baran in the APV Simulators rig thrown around as they enter the long left-hander.
Yeah, Graham had a great run. You know, being out front, that's where you want to be. But Trenton Briley's moved from that third spot up into second right now, getting Grady back. You can see a great shot there of that Preve simulator that Fouad has. Man, oh, I'll tell you, how cool is that?
You'll get a chance to catch up with Fouad after this race, so we'll maybe ask him what that flip for Cody Vanderveer would have been like in that particular sim rig. Wes Graham, Trenton Briley, wheel to wheel between the two of them, door to door, as they head off into the air on this opening lap of the race. They've just got the final couple of corners left on the lap, the long right-hand hairpin, then the run out of the left-hander back towards the line. Tom Grady and Drake Mittag. Mittag, remember, started down in 7th position. They are there as well. 4 in contention for 2 transfer spots, and here comes those opportunities. Tom Grady gets to the inside of Trenton Briley, but doesn't quite make it work. Mittag's going to get past him on the run up to turn number 1.
You got to wonder, Grady cut that course just a little bit, went into the grass there, and then the contact with Briley. So you got to wonder if stewards or iRacing actually may say something about. We saw that with Canup, had the slowdown. We're not seeing it yet, but Tag, he's 1 spot up now. Wes Graham, it's his race to win or lose at this point. He's got to get in protection mode, like I was saying, and get those elbows wide as we go on board with Grady sitting in 4th place and watching Tag making the run on Briley right now.
I think I can confirm, by the way, Tom Grady did have that slowdown. He's finally been able to clear it, and so has to now gather himself back up and attack from 4th position. We know that Drake Mittag is very, very capable, as already having entered victory lane once this season. He's down in 18th in points, and it's because sometimes he gets into these situations, into an LCQ, and he's got to be careful now because he's up into a transfer position, a bit of contact to get past Trenton Briley, who's surely thinking about returning the favor. Be careful not to make contact with Wes Graham as well, back towards the line. 2 laps, 3 miles left to go.
As what I saw as daylight when he looked up the inside of Briley there, so yeah, it looked like a good pass there. I couldn't see from that angle, but it looks like it was truck width that he squeezed through.
See if those top 2 can now break away maybe slightly. Grady out wide. Mittag takes advantage as Wes Graham's out wide as well. So back off to the S's. They'll go. You can slam the door shut here, and this is where Vanderveer had his moment. You got to be careful not to shortcut the track and get a slowdown, and Trenton Briley's taken opportunity moves like this in the past, not quite able to get the 2 for 1. Tom Grady's blocked the path of Drake Mittag as well. He's up to 2nd and fighting with Wes Graham. This is Trenton Briley clears himself for the race lead, and Eric Jones is going to slide forward to 2nd.
Jones just saw that door open wide for him as he slid down through that. And you can see getting a little out of shape there. Graham and Mittag battling it out there as they go through. Trenton Briley starting to break away. Now Eric Jones hoping these guys just battle it out. Graham, Mittag, and Grady. And it looks like Adam McAfee trying to get in the mix there. Batman's throwing the tumbler into it. Oh, just so man, Wes.
That's a grind that Tony Hawk would be proud of, but it shed so much momentum off the truck that Wes the Mess has ground to a halt. 1 more lap to go, and Eric Jones clear of this fight behind between Tom Grady and Drake Mittag. Can Briley and Jones hold on the final lap of the race?
Yeah, that's going to be the question there. Can Grady, and look at Mittag, though, he's fighting it way back deep there. You got McAfee also trying to get up there to battle with Mittag. But Briley, man, look at this. A 2.5 lead already. And Jones with a breakaway. Is this the first time that Jones is going to qualify?
I think it might be. That's a very good shout. This is what I was saying with Drake Mittag, though. You put yourself in these opportunities, even if you're quick enough to win the lottery that is an LCQ, Dave. It's just a situation that championship contenders keep themselves out of.
Yeah, I agree with that statement 100%. Sometimes you can be your own worst enemy.
Up front, Trenton Briley's going to get it done. Plenty of contact for him in the heat, but he's fought his way back forward, representing Sheldon Creed, yes, on the shirt, but representing himself out on track as well. Briley Jones advanced to the main event, and a chance for us to catch our breath for a moment, Dave, before we get going for the final time tonight.
And there was the grin from Trenton Briley. Boy, he broke that stoic face.
Relieved, I have no doubt about that. That was Mittag and Grady with some afters. I have no doubt Race Control will take a look at that to see if there was a bit more than was acceptable. It was Briley and Jones able to take advantage through all of that, though. And we say goodbye. Grady, Mittag, McAfee, Noble, Boran, and Wes Graham. He'll be frustrated, to say the very least. I did mention, though, we've got a couple of drivers that we want to catch up with before we go racing for the main event. And we don't have long. We have only 3 minutes before they get gridded up. So let's see who we can catch up with first. I believe we're going to catch up with Fouad Baran first in that APV Simulators machine. But I'm just waiting for him to be brought into the booth with us so we can have that chat. But Dave, some good racing so far, and the main event only surely going to be even better.
Well, I told you the LCQs weren't going to disappoint. These were some good LCQs. Definitely some nail biters for a couple of the drivers. And, boy, some shockers of some drivers that didn't qualify. I was just blown away that we didn't see Drake Mittag make it to the main event. But I'll tell you, man, Jones earned that one for sure.
We were hoping to chat to Fouad Baran and talk about that sim rig, but unfortunately does not look as though we're going to get that opportunity to. So instead, I tell you what, we still want to catch up with a driver. Let's see if we can instead catch up with Luke Canup, who's going to be starting on pole position in our main events coming up in just a few moments' time. So just wait for Luke to be brought into the broadcast booth for us, and then we will have that chat with a driver who, let's not forget, comes into this round of the championship second, but it's very close between him and Keaton Swane. So let's go ahead, catch up with Luke Canup. Dave Arnold standing by.
Luke, boy, you're sitting on pole right now. Talk about a little bit of pressure. It's been a dry season so for you, but you're able to fight your way into a qualifying. You took the win on that one. It's incredible to see on the pole.
Yeah, I mean, again, story of my season, qualifying, terrible. And so another terrible qualifying spot, and we turned it into a second place in the heat after kind of a crazy heat race, and then that turns us into the pole with the feature or the invert. So I'm stoked about that, and we'll have no excuses after this one. So
well, I know it's going to turn into a battle in points right now for second so far between you and Keaton Swane, but I know your goal is to take the win and not worry about that. Any strategies in this main event that being on the pole? I mean, talk about having a target on your back.
Just got to hit my marks. It's a hard track to pass at, thankfully. So hit my marks to make no mistakes, and hopefully everyone behind me gets into some battles. So just key is getting good starts and making no mistakes.
Well, that's one of the things, being up front, and you got fast drivers. It's hard to pass on this track. Are you going to run it like a qualifying run? Just use the track up, or are you going to get into a little blocking mentality too?
Hopefully not blocking. Hopefully just pulling away, and if I do have to, I'm pretty confident in blocking. It's usually one of my strong suits, so I'm excited
fill
for
the hole. Fill the hole, right?
Yeah.
Well, Luke, I got to say good luck to you tonight, sitting on the pole. Luke Canup, Team Gold Esports. Man, they're in the top 3 trying to make a run there for the team championships also.
And the word from Connor Barry, he's coming. That's what I got told. He'll start up front, though, will Luke Canup, trying to close the margin on Slicky, the championship leader. He's got the impressive Sean Winkler, no other word for him here in 2025, starts 8th in the championship coming into the night. Brody DeShore, Josh Edmondson, row 2 with Keaton Swane and Nicholas Dashley behind them. And Dashley and Swane winners in their heats, as were Connor Barry and Cody Winicki. Inverted from heat 1 and 2 victors down to 7th and 8th on the starting grid. Tyson Miller and Christopher Plumley line up behind them, with Zachary Dratkin in 11th in that Racecraft Academy Redline All 56. Alongside him is Dennis Mickelson. Crystal King 13th. Hadley Boyce is 14th with Mason Prater and Thad Countryman on row row number 8. Tyler Shattuck, Trenton Briley squeak their way through an LCQ alongside Matt Adams and Eric Jones to line up at the very back of the starting grid. And let's not forget that as we get set to go for the 12 laps here today, our competition caution comes at the end of lap number 5. The field will be backed up and packed up, and we'll shoot them out once again as some of the drivers getting ready to go. Dave, great thing about tonight is during the comp caution, we'll talk to whoever's leading before we get the race back underway.
Question, will that be Luke Canup again, or is Connor Berry coming out swinging out there? It's going to be an interesting one. It reminds me of the battles that those kids had in the mod cars back in the day. Talk about two drivers that brought it, man. Those guys would go back and forth. And any one day, one of those guys, they get next to each other, expect a good battle.
Waiting for some more Mod Kids documentaries to drop, which there are some more in the can from what I understand.
Yes.
I just have to get them released. That's all we're waiting for. That's all I'm asking for. Canup, Winkler front row, DeShore, Edmondson behind them. There's some drivers who have no qualms about getting the elbows out. And compared to last time, Dave, you called this out earlier, not a standing start and not 10 wide. Instead, we're 2x2 and 20 trucks deep.
Yeah, that makes it interesting. And do you hear that, Chris James? We need another Mod Kids movie. To where they are now, I think that would be a good one.
Oh, that would be a great one as well. Connor Barry would be unrecognizable between his first appearance and his appearance nowadays. Of course, I did see some chatter going on in our YouTube earlier on as well. Real world short course action to kick back off as well.
Wheatland.
So looking forward to some of these drivers heading out there into the real world as well. But Dave, we're ready to go. Who comes out on top? Time for me to throw you under the bus and ask for a prediction.
Okay, it's going to be a guy in a Pro 4 or a gal.
I'm going to go. I'm going to throw myself out there. I'm going Keaton Swane. 2 wins in a row. Can he do it from down in 5th position? We're off and away in the rolling hills of Michigan. And Luke Canup's jumped his way clear to the race lead. Winkler and DeShore, some contact between the two of them as they sweep through the opening corner. Connor Barry still in 7th. Cody Winicki's 8th. So no change for those two down in the mid-pack of the top 10. Out of the left-hander, they're contacting with one another. There's some argy-bargy and some drivers struggling off the corner.
Yeah, you can see Swane was getting pushed around a little bit as we go on board with Connor Berry. Slicky one more time as Connor's looking at the rear end there of Nicholas Dachelet, the 23. It's all about just, work one car at a time. Don't think about the front. You think about what's in front of you. Try to forget what's behind you, but don't leave doors open. I know that's a strategy that's probably going through Connor's mind right now as we see 3 wide trying to squeeze through this left-hander.
Remember, caution at the end of lap 5, and we'll burn an additional lap off the race before we get back underway with a single file start. That was aggression from Brody DeShore. He bundles Sean Winkler out of the way, but I don't think the real estate agent's going to lie down and let that one go. There's more contact as they almost get shoved off onto the wall. Riding with Edmondson, you see just how physical that sequence back up to the line is. Dachelet past Keaton Swane, Connor Barry and Cody Winicki still in 7th and 8th positions, but here they go. Swane and Barry wheel to wheel after their photo finish a week ago.
Yeah, it's weird to see Swane not moving forward already there, but I'll tell you, Nick Dachelet, how about Edmondson on the move there trying to run down Winkler? But you can see Barry looking up the inside of Swane there, but he knows he's got to move into the fast lane or the premium real estate at this point.
Cody Winicki almost slid off the jump there. That's cost him a bit of momentum, bit of ground to those behind, but he's still in front of Christopher Plumley in the 36 machine. In front of these machines through the whoops they go. And you can see the gap building. Luke Canup's taking advantage here, but that's what the comp caution's going to do. End of lap 5. Everyone stacked up once again.
And Luke Canup right there just running away with this one. And I'm telling you, not the best qualifier, he said, but I'll tell you, he's running some good qualifying lines. He's using the track up. He's being smooth, hitting the apexes. He's got fast entry and fast exit, and that's what you want to do. That's for sure. You can see Dusher and Winkler battling back there for 2nd position, going back to Edmondson as Edmondson's got a lot of Dachelet coming up on his back porch looking to trespass.
Off they go. Already onto the 3rd lap of this race. Connor Barry still yet to fight his way forward in what is going to be a storyline. 21 days in counting since he was last in victory lane. And yes, we are going to count every single one of those days as well. Cody Winicki, after the flying start and qualifying, the victory in heat number 1. Well, in front of him, that was Zachary Drapkin. I think that got out of sort further back in the field. They're squabbling with one another as well, almost tripping over each other. Winicki holds off the challenge for the time being. Hadley Boyce and Thad Countryman are side by side. Tyler Shattuck's behind them. Gets cattywampus though on that inside curve.
And Tyson Miller with a nice slide job underneath Drapkin, moves into 10th position. Drapkin back to 11th. As we look at the pack jumping up and over here, you can see a good battle in the back. As we see, it looks like Plumley goes by there. Then we're going to go deeper. Drapkin, Countryman, Prater. Prater's a surprise being in the back, as well as Trent Briley. And even Crystal King. Expect her to start moving up a little bit here. But the strategy's coming to play. Like you said, the comp caution halfway through this one's going to come out. All the strategies of the first half of the race are out the window. Then it's on.
Big sends in the air from some of these machines. Up the inside of Nicholas Dashley. Keaton Swane's getting pushed by Connor Barry. You can see the 4 medals behind him again. And those gloves, those Mark 1 race gear gloves that Connor Barry has, all with the iRacing short course branding on them. Single file they'll ride for the time being as they launch themselves up into the air once again. It's always impressive knowing that these drivers have got to set themselves up, because misjudging the entry into the air will result in a rather uncomfortable landing. Barry's got a good chance here, though, to pass Keaton Swane up the inside into the final sector.
And he's pushing Swane a little bit, looks up the inside there. Swane's going to get pushed into the marbles there as his sights now set on Dashley, the 23. He gets by Swane for a moment. Swane's still got a nose in the fight, but now it's going to be Barry. Now he's going to look to the inside as he makes a run on Dashley, trying to hold off Swane at this point, but don't count out Swane. He's going to give a little bump right back to Connor, let him know he's still there.
That's the form that short course racing tends to take, back and forth, contact here and there. The drivers, for the most part, know that Race Control, who do most of their work after the fact, there's points penalties galore through the championship standings, keeping a watchful eye on all proceedings. So change that was made during the seasons. Drivers no longer have to report incidents. Race Control's looking at every little bit of contact on every lap. Just imagine the workload they're adding to themselves. Edmondson and Dashley, they've swapped around for 4th and 5th position, but we're on lap 5. We're going to pack things up at the end of this lap, and Deshore and Winkler starting to go at it for 2nd spot.
Yeah, great battle between Deshore right now. Winkler trying to get up into that mix there. But you can see Canup, he's got a good lead. But it's going to be very shortly before that lead goes away. And he'll have a whole lot of horsepower. Chase him down. Oh! Gets out of shape right before Plumley. Winicki tries to get back in, jumps there, tries to fill it. You can see also the 23 there, Nicholas Dashley, right in front of him, battling with Winicki. Plumley trying to get in the mix one more time as they bounce it off the walls here. Boy, talk about cattywampus there. Ooh.
Big sends, but they all hold on, and all 20 trucks will get to the comp caution on the lead lap. So let's slow things down and pack the field back up. And so just a reminder, we have no passing on this particular lap. We'll burn it off the board, if you will, and we'll restart in just a few moments' time with 6 laps left to go, and with Luke Canup in control of the field. I tell you what, you've already talked to him once tonight. Dave, do you want to have another chat with Luke Canup?
Why
Let's
not?
see if we can catch up with our leader at the comp caution.
Luke, the strategy is coming into play. You've, I don't know, you say you're always slow qualifying, but it looks to me that you're using the track up like you were trying to qualify. You're hitting all those fast spots. And like you said, they're all fighting behind you.
Yeah, just got to keep doing what I'm doing. Made a few mistakes on lap 2 that let them close back in, but we were consistently about a 10th faster there before the caution.
Is a whole nother strategy come into play after the comp caution for you versus the first one? I know you said you had the mistake, but what's your thoughts now?
Just got to hit my marks still. That's the whole game. Is I see Connor back there, but I can't let that get to my head. Just hope these guys behind me get in some more battles and keep doing what I'm doing. But so far, so good.
Yeah, rip the rear mirror out of that thing and just worry about what's in front of you, right?
Exactly, yep.
Well, I got to say good luck. Boy, I tell you, you got a lot of footsteps behind you. Keep that head down and keep driving forward. Luke Canup leading this here.
Always great to catch up with the drivers. Appreciate them talking to us from behind the wheel. Something that even in the real world they do, but I'm sure begrudgingly.
Yep.
It's easy in the sim world to do it. We just don't do it enough. The drivers, we can bug them more, Dave. So we'll do it more this season. That's for sure.
Yeah, you always want to do it in a comp caution. Let me tell you, we had a live radio once during the actual race. Boy, oh boy, thank God for the dump button. That's all I can say.
See, as someone that watches baseball, cricket, you have the athletes sometimes commentate. That would be very entertaining to see in motorsports as well. Early jump from Luke Canup, earlier than I was expecting, and maybe some of the drivers as well. Off and away we go. So already some side-by-side moments. Drapkin and Miller edge of the top 10 on board with Slicky. Championship leader, Connor Barry, who's trying to now get to the outside of Sean Winkler. He got a great run off that final corner. He's going to get some contact in midair as well. Winkler's all sorts of out of shape, and Barry has to slow the momentum to avoid making the situation any worse. And so 2 cars at the front now breaking away with 6 laps to go.
I gotta say, hats off to Winkler with that car control, able to hold that with the contact in the air, got sideways, able to straighten it up. But you got Edmondson now behind Barry. So Barry's got to worry about a little bit. I know his sights are set now on Winkler, but I'll tell you, you don't want to keep your head, not pay attention to Edmondson's back there, because if he goes for a move the wrong way, Edmondson's going to be to pounce on him. But talk about Luke Canup already running. He's got about a half a second here, and we're not even a lap down on the restart.
Yeah, don't trust my count. The commentator's mouth is always questionable and not to be trusted. But I do believe that Connor Barry is in a situation where, as long as he scores on average, like he's done for the rest of the season, next time out in our Triple Crown event format, he will lock the championship up in a couple of weeks' time and not have to head off to Crandon with the championship looming on his mind. He's still going to put the pressure on to Sean Winkler as they head back to the line. First lap after the comp caution done and dusted. DeShore still pressing Luke Canup, and look at this chaos behind as they trip over one another. Tyler Shattuck on the outside of Dennis Mickelson.
Yeah, definitely tripping over each other there. There are some close contact in the back of the pack for sure. We're going 2 by 2 like the arc here. Canup and Dusher, and then Winkler and Barry battling for position there. Winkler with some good lines going around, not leaving any daylight for Barry to take advantage. But you can see Edmondson. He is like a fly on honey right now. I'll tell you, this guy is just going to look for a little daylight here. Connor Barry doesn't make mistakes often, but if you're worried about passing sometimes you figure about that guy behind you and you leave a door open.
Edmondson's got that lean going on, that's for sure. And he's back at home. Remember, last time out, he was racing from APV simulators in what was, for him, a new experience on monitors for the first time. That was a great move from Connor Barry. Clears himself of Sean Winkler. And so it's going to be back to the line, sweep their way around this sequence, run up to the wall as close as you dare, and build that momentum a little bit more. And now Barry setting his sights on the top 2, closing the advantage they have built up with 4 laps left to go in the main event, round 8 of this Pro 4 Championship.
Well, Evans is going to have to put some of his motocross skills into play here, because he might have to get on 2 wheels to get by Winkler to get up to Barry again. Looks like they're just a little bit faster through certain sections here, but Barry's not pulling from Winkler, and Barry's not pulling up on Dusher. So Dusher, though, he's locked in on Luke Canup there. 0.3 of a second. He did have a half a second before. I think Dusher is getting a little bit quicker each lap.
I agree with you. Is he also seeing opportunities sitting behind Luke Canup that he'll use on that final lap of the race? Doesn't want to go too early. Don't want to give Luke Canup, who's fairly experienced both in the real and virtual world, an opportunity to make his move back. And so he'll be plodding, finding his opportunity. We've talked about the blue groove. You can see the track evolution, how much we've carved out that line, that these trucks are all finding their way through. And there's Luke on board with the young Brody DeShore, locked in focus and locked to the rear gearbox of Luke Canup.
Oh, definitely. And you can see the loamy fluff out there. It's where you don't want to be. It's like riding on marbles or ice. You can see these drivers trying to stay within that groove. You can really see where the race line has developed that you mentioned there. It's like one of those things. Now, here's another thing I was thinking about. Was Swane had that early run, I think he might have taken the points from Canup, but with Canup now up front, I think it's going to switch it around and put him back in a second real strong. Also doing well for his team.
For sure, no doubt about that, actually. Luke Canup will retake second place quite handily, but it's going to be close between him and Swane in the final rounds of the championship. And I will say, as Brody DeShore looks to the inside, doors Luke Canup entering the whoops. Here comes Slicky. He's been closing. Get that Jaws music out. The 21-day wait for Connor Barry to re-enter victory lane. He's going to try and close. And for Brody DeShore, this is the first time we've seen him in this position this season. We know the pace is there, but is he going to be able to stay out of trouble? He parks it on the apex, gets some contact from Barry. Winkler and Edmondson are squabbling for fourth position as well. 2 laps to go. Is Luke Canup breaking away at the front of the field?
Yeah, I was going to say they were DeShore and Barry battling right now. It's actually allowing Luke Canup to move away a little bit. Barry looking up the inside, trying to go for the pass, but we're into this left or the right-hander. They're coming around, setting up for this next one. And Barry gets thrown into the grass a little bit there as he battles by DeShore right there. DeShore, man, I'll tell you, that kid has been driving the tires off of this Pro 4.
He's been driving great, but he can't do much on the championship leader. There's a reason why Connor Barry is in this place where we're talking about him locking up the championship in a couple of weeks before we even make it to our season showdown. He'll have 1 lap left on the race board to try and close on your race leader, but 9/10 the margin. It's a couple more truck lengths than I think Connor Barry has got in him to try and close back up to the gearbox of the race leader. Is it going to be Luke Canup for what, quite remarkably, would be the first time this season entering victory lane? He's got 1.5 miles left to hold on.
Yeah, it's going to be another change-up, another winner here. Could be a possibility, for Luke Canup. He's just hoping that Connor's going to worry about DeShore. DeShore looking and still working on Connor with a little bit of contact. Another door fed to him here. DeShore with a big run. The white flag will come out. 1 lap to go here for Luke Canup as Connor Barry gets back into second. DeShore, but not backing off.
That's crucial. Canup's got his advantage. He's got his buffer. Now Brody DeShore is just thinking those bragging rights. Can he grab second on the podium, back away behind them? Josh Edmondson's done a great job as well to get back in front of Sean Winkler, who is down in 5th position and now probably nervously looking over the shoulder because you've got Nicholas Dachelet and Keaton Swane there as well on this final lap of the race. Bark River never disappoints.
No, and I'll tell you, when we see at Bark River, if you get out front, you could run away here. But I'll tell you, Connor Barry's not going to, do everything he can to keep that from happening. But I think we're going to have another winner here. Luke Canup with a good run here. He's just a couple turns away from a checkered flag.
At this point, the record book shows Luke Canup and Connor Barry equal in terms of National Series race wins, 20 apiece entering today. And while Luke Canup's yet to taste success in 2025, it's going to be a taste that's oh so sweet. Out of the final corner, a 21st victory in the National Series for Luke Canup, a punch of the air, and back in victory lane for the first time this year.
I think the smile says it all there. You can see him wiping the sweat off his lip. I think he was getting a little, oh boy, we're getting close here. Boy, talk about pressure.
Remarkable. It was Swane last week, Canup this week. And so, yes, Barry does what he needed to make sure the points advantage is still in his favor into those final couple of rounds. But Luke Canup reminding the world, even if the championship might not be his, he's going to be counted come the Pro 2s and the World Cup later this year. 1.6 seconds the advantage for the Team Gold driver over Barry in the Channel 199 sim racing machine, while Brody DeShore, first podium of the season, and he'll be delighted with that one to say the least. Edmondson and Winkler, the top 5. A good day for Factory Sim Sport to get 6th, 7th, and 8th, as much as they might have wanted a bit more, with Zachary Drapkin and then Cody Winicki down in 10th position. I'm sure he'll be frustrated, but the pace has been there this calendar year. Thad Countryman 11th, Tyson Miller 12th with Briley Prater, Shattuck King, Boyson Adams the top 18, Mason Prater and Dennis Mickelson the rest of the results. Mason Prater actually finished further up the starting order, but had a in-game penalty to serve after cutting the course, and that drops him down the running order as a result. I guess, once again, he must like talking to you, Dave. So let's catch up with our race winner, Luke Canup, standing by.
Luke, no talk in a long time here. Oh, wait a minute. It's only been a couple minutes. But, man, I'll tell you, how was that relief that you felt coming across, taking the win? I saw you wipe the sweat off your brow practically.
Yeah, I feel like, Keaton won, last week, and it was like 1,000 however many days, but like, I felt the same way. I mean, it was pretty much this point last season, my last time I won, so it took me long enough. I had a lot of chances to do it, and finally put a lot of effort into this one and paid off. Qualifying, it was rocky, but the rest of the night was solid, so I'm just stoked about it.
Well, it should move you back securely back into the second position after Swane slightly took it away for a moment, but in the points and the team standings, it's got to feel good.
Yeah, for sure. Just huge confidence in myself and the team going into the rest of the season, knowing we are fast enough, we can win races, and we showed it in all the Triple Crowns, getting some race wins, but finally got a feature full race win, so stoked about that one, and it gives us a little bit of cushion on Keaton going into the last two. So,
well, you got a couple weeks now to go back, regroup here, and try and go for another win. Any strategies going into the second to final round, a Triple Crown round?
Yeah, the race I won last season at the Triple Crown at Wild Horse, so I'm excited to go back there again. Showed a lot of speed there earlier this year, almost winning it. That was the last time we had the chance to win. So we know we have good speed going in there, and just got to put 3 solid races together. So just can't thank Team Gold Esports enough for all they do. Luke Canup Racing, APV Simulators, huge sponsor on board. Not only the series, but me. They make the best simulators on the market, so can't thank them enough. And everyone else, thank you.
There he is, Luke Canup, P1 there as he heads to Firebird, his home track, to see if he could get another win. I think Arjuno's standing by with second place, Connor Berry.
Indeed, I am. Connor, a good fight back from you after the invert to grab second place in a very good spot in the championship. How's the mentality? How's the mindset after the result 2 rounds left in the championship?
The mindset is still to go out there and win. I am a tad bit bummed out on that. I felt like I was in honestly a good spot, and then I got into second, and then we were just trying to battle for second instead. So it definitely was good still. At second place, we scored, I think, a good amount of points, so it's going to be a good one, but we're going to go out there and try to win it in 2 weeks.
Couple of weeks off, and like you say, back hoping to win the championship in a Triple Crown event format. Do you think that helps you, or do you think it's not that different in terms of the championship because of how the points are accumulated in a Triple Crown event format?
I personally think it does. It's all about being, of course it's about being fast, but it's also about being consistent. And that's something that I feel like that I can do good. I think I got a second place, and that's my bad week. So that's definitely a good thing about me. And I feel like it's going to be a good one, and it's definitely my best track as well. So it's going to be definitely it's going to be a dogfight though. So it's going to get bumpy out there, and it's going to get it's going to get crazy. But I'm glad that I still have a drop, and I'm in a pretty good spot going into Crandon for this championship.
Congrats on a bad day today, Connor, finishing second. We'll see you in a couple of weeks in our Triple Crown race at Firebird. Always great to catch up with Connor. One final interview. It's the podium sitter, Brody DeShore, with Dave.
Brody DeShore, all I can say is, wow, congratulations. You got on the box here. Man, talk about this race, man. What a battle you had. Up to second, trying to chase down Luke Canup. But the battle with Connor Berry, man, you did not give up. You were right there. You had the speed. I mean, talk about the time you put in.
Yeah. I was not expecting this at all coming into this week. or this whole season was just learning for me. And I got that invert, and I was just gonna do my best to hold my own and stay in the top 5. And we did it. I was just so fast tonight. I felt so good finally for once. And if I'm gonna lose to anybody, I want to lose to Luke and Connor. Those are 2 of the best in the business, and I just can't be happier. That was awesome.
Does it give you a confidence boost now that it's like, okay, I know I can do it?
Absolutely. I mean, only a few rounds to go. And we got racing in real life next week. I couldn't be in a better mood now, and definitely confident going into the next race coming up.
Well, I got to say, man, you impressed us all, man. You really stepped your game. It seemed like something just clicked with you, and all of a sudden you just found it.
Well, the Triple Crown here, I made the show, and I played my way all the way through the invert, through the 3 races, and then I got a top 5 out of it. And so I was pretty confident coming into this week that I could do good, and it all just worked out, and the invert definitely helped me so much for that feature race. I couldn't ask for a better result.
I gotta say, man, once again, you impressed us all. I mean, really showed you had some speed to run their contenders from 5th to 3rd. Wow. What is your strategy now going into Crandon? You gonna put some practice in there, or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna practice for Crandon. I'm not the greatest there. There's a lot. These guys are very, very good at Crandon. We're gonna practice, do my best the rest of the season, and just have some fun.
Well, Brody, I know you probably got some people that help you out through this, and I think it's time to give them a little love because you made the box.
Yeah, Iridium Sim Sports for all the stuff on the sim, Concut, Sharp Apparel, Rendezvous Bar and Grill of Luxembourg, Bikeman Performance, MRT Tires, Motorsports, all the guys that race with me over here on the sim, Eric and Hadley especially, for running this every week with us and believing in me. Anybody else I missed, you guys for broadcasting this whole series, for putting it on so that we have something off-road, and anybody else I missed, thank you guys so much.
Well, congratulations once again to Brody Desher, P3. He made the box. He's on a roll. Let's see what he's going to do going into Crandon.
Couple of weeks off for us. We'll be back from Firebird Motorsports Park for another one of our Triple Crown events, the final one in our Pro 4 National Series. Connor Barry hoping to lock up the championship, but that's all for us here today. For Dave Arnold alongside myself, Arjuna Kangi Party, thanks for joining us for iRacing short course action on RaceSpot TV. Once again, reigning supreme, Connor Barry, the 3-time iRacing Short Course National Series champion.
One thing I would like to tell my competitors is the job is not done yet.
You can see that Luke Canup wants to end the season on a high, did not want the fight to end like this.
Second place in championship, but that's not over yet.
But the championship leaders banging and rubbing doors on the run towards the line. Whoa. Connor Barry tried everything. Experience from the real world to the virtual as well, because then Dashley makes a mistake.
It's going to be a new Dashlette this year, so hopefully this means that I'll be running up front more.
And history made! Team Gold and Briley on top.
One thing I'd like to tell all the competitors for 2025 is watch out, Team Gold's coming.
The 2-year wait for Victory Lane may continue for Keaton Swane.
Winning is important. I show up to win, so obviously winning is everything.